Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's take the blessings. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, and the Omnipresent, who also has the divine names as Shuchihi, Siddhartha, to such a magnificent Lord, together we offer our humble salutations filled with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, to seek your grace, your love, your mercy, your kindness, your compassion, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, we beseech in you to empower us with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya, only and only with an intention to understand thy true nature. And we humbly pray that at the end of our lives, we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, by the grace of the Almighty and with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 290. The 12th of July 2022. Shubhakrat Nama Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Grishma Ritu, Ashadha Mas, Shukla Paksh, Chaturdasi, Mula Nakshatra, Brahma Yoge, and Garaja Karane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a firm resolve in our lives. Shri Vishnu Preranaya Shri Vishnu Prityartham. Na ham karta, Hari karta. Whatever I face and encounter in my life, by situations, by circumstances, by incidents, by happenings, be it through a person or an object or a place, all this is at the behest of the Almighty. I have given my complete charge of my life to the Divine Almighty. He takes the calls to empower the soul and uplift the soul from the ocean of births and death. All this is nothing but his game plan. I completely surrender, accept, and face every aspect of my life with a smile and with a humble submission. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, today we are at a very important juncture, I would say, while we are studying the chapter 14, GUNA TRAYA VIBHAGA Yoga. In our previous discourse, we had studied up to verse 21. Partially we had studied that. So now, verse 22, we will study more of that, verse 22. And then we move on to verse 23. So, since we are going to discuss some very critical points, very important aspects, where we are going to directly address who is Paramatma, then who is this Prakriti, who is this Jivatma, then who is that who is doing all this? So these are the fine layers, extremely fine layers. That's what we are going to handle today. So with all attention, keep your mind completely focused. And it may happen that if we are not able to complete the 23rd verse, where at the end we are going to talk about all these critical aspects, because by then your mind is prepared as per what Lord Krishna is telling us. We'll address these fine points where we come to know who is the Karta, the Bhokta, the Jnata, the Pramata. All these are Sanskrit terms. I'll explain to you. So once you have this clear identification, then all the time with this knowledge, you just be remembering that. So then you will be focusing on the right sphere. So currently we do not know our true self. We just know that somewhere, I am not the Jivatma, I am not the Jivatma. No, that should not be the way we should be saying. Why you are not the Jivatma? This has to come with conviction. So once that comes into us, then as you just ignore whatever has happened in your dream, in the same way you will start ignoring whatever is happening to you in your life. What more freedom you want than this? That is true moksha. Moksha is coming out of the imperfections. See, today we all are troubled because we have imperfections. We have imperfections in us, we have imperfections around the people with us, and we are constantly fighting. But remember, once you understand that everything is perfect around, there is no reason to complain. There is no reason to hanker. There is no reason to worry. There is no reason to be anxious. You are just a watcher. You are just a witness. Okay, now let's study this today. Okay, now I'll just revisit verse 22 and then we'll move forward. Now this particular shloka 22 is an answer to what Arjuna in the previous verse 21 shloka he asks Lord Krishna. He tells him, O Lord, now tell me, you spoke so much about a realized person, but now how do I understand that a realized person? Because by knowing a realized person, I also can inculcate that behavior. So he primarily asks him 3 questions. Lingaihi. Lingaihi means what he says? Tell me, O Lord, Kairlingai strin gunan etan atito bhavati prabho kimacharya katam chaitan trin gunan ativartate. So meaning, now those 3 things I want to know. Just tell me, I want to find out, and I want to inculcate all that in my life. So the 3 is first the signs. Symptoms. What are the symptoms in him? Then the second one is kimahacharaha. How is his behavior with the outside world? And the third one is katham. In what way? Ativartate, meaning how he transcends. I want to know the exact process. One is what are the symptoms in him. Second is what is his behavior. And the third is in what manner, what steps, what strategy he uses to ativartate, meaning transcend from this superficial nature. So now for this, Lord Krishna, he answers. Verse 22nd. I'll briefly tell you what we discussed last time, and then we take it forward from there. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham cha pravrittin cha Mohameva cha Pandava Na dveshti sampravrittani Na nivrittani kankshati. So he basically says, constantly in everybody's life, these 3 gunas are operating. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now Sattva, how do you know that Sattva is operating? When you get a sense of an idea, let's say, or when you get some reckoning, when you get a flash of something which you were thinking about. All these are when your Sattva guna is active. Then pravrittincha. Then sometimes you get a feeling of achieving, doing, executing something. All this you are in a mode of rajas. You are in activity. And the third one is mohamevacha. Is when are you in a tamasic mode? Is when you are thinking all rubbish, all wrong things, no proper perspective. This is when you should understand you are in a tamasic mode. So these 3 things are constantly at play in your life. That is what he says. Firstly. So, sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. Meaning, Here you should have an attitude where na dveshti sampravrittani, meaning you will not hate when you get something undesirable. See exactly what is happening in our life. If you see, we always want something and we don't get it. So here the Lord says, you are not the decider of what you should get. Who is deciding? Karma phala data. He is the one who is deciding. So you don't get into that wrong play and say, oh my God, I did so much, I worked so hard, I didn't get, but the person next door or the person known to me, he or she got. How come this happened? You are constantly caught up in that cycle. He says, no, don't get into that frame. And nivruttani kankshati, and don't long for something which you have not got. You may get, you may not get, you may not get also. So constantly only be in the present moment. This is what we understood in our last class. So now, taking this forward, what we have to see is how one can keep their mind in the present moment. So I gave a story of the author of Wrapped, Winifred Gallagher. Now what she says that she's an acclaimed behavioral science writer. Now she says in one word, my experience is what I agree to attend to. Think about it. Such a beautiful saying. What is your experience in life? At every point of time, whatever you agree to attend to, that becomes your experience. Now, I have experienced something sad earlier. Okay. Now, if I attend to that incident, to that moment of sadness, which I have already experienced, now what happens? That becomes my experience, the current experience. In the same way, I get anxious about something. I don't know what's going to happen. Now I think it's going to be a ruckus now. And if you start visualizing wrong things, now that is what you are agreeing to attend to, and your experience will become that. So the quality of our life depends largely on what you choose to pay attention to. That is what she exactly says. So now for that, you have to train your mind and be in the moment of the present. That is exactly what Lord Krishna is saying here. And how do you practice this? Mindfulness and meditation. That attention, that focus. So to make every experience, you have to ensure that what stuff you give to your mind, what you agree to give to your mind, that eventually becomes your experience. So, now there is a wonderful Serenity Prayer written by Reinhold Niebuhr. This is somewhere in the 1960s, but even till today, it's extremely popular in the West. He says, O Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and courage to change the things which I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. What is that which to accept what I cannot change? Let's say somebody has very dear to you has expired. Or you have a situation where you are working somewhere and you love the job but you don't love your boss. He is very troublesome. Now, you have to accept, because you love the job, you don't want to change. Somebody has expired, you cannot bring that person back. You have to accept that change. Now, have the courage to change the things I can, meaning, now let's say your health is not in order. It's going down. Day by day it's going down. That is, have the courage to change the things I can. Improve upon your health. Make a list. Make a goal. A strategy. How you are able to work on improving your health. in terms of your exercise regime, in terms of your diet, in terms of your rest, in terms of being with the right company, then what happens is you can change your health. Your financial situation is bad, then plan all your financials, bring in a change, consult an expert. So like this, courage to change the things which you can, and he says, "Oh Lord, give me the wisdom to know the difference." Because we are just doing the opposite. What we cannot change, we try to change, and what we can change, we think we can never change. So here the Lord exactly is saying that. So in life what happens is we should actually accept this sattva, rajas and tamas with a smile, and that's what a jnani who has crossed all the three gunas does. You know how he acts? Come to the basics. This world is created. Did you and me create this world? No. Did you and me create this body? No. Are you and me sustaining this body, excepting then you eating and drinking and the usual whatever instinct based activities are there, we are doing nothing. So which means the Prakriti has created me, the Prakriti is operating in me, and that Prakriti, Maya Shakti, where mind is again matter and matter is Maya Shakti. Now, under this Prakriti, now my mind is operating, my senses are operating, the world is operating, and everybody else in this world is also operating from these parameters. So, which means we all are just puppets. Now, how are we operating? We are operating based on our prarabdha karma. This is very important. That's why we said, Lord Krishna is saying, you can't ask for anything. You will get what you deserve. How this theory of deserving is decided? By your past karmas. You start taking care of your health, then you are creating good health for the future. You start taking all wrong decisions on your health, you abuse your health, then sooner or later your health is going to give way. As simple as that. So he says, in Prakriti, by Prakriti, you are operating, and in Prakriti and by Prakriti, the person in front of you or around you are operating. So there is nobody who is operating independently. Understand this carefully. So if I am talking good to somebody, the Prakriti in me which is arousing the sattva guna in me, and it is talking, that's all. If I am talking nonsense and if I am doing something harmful, it is that Prakriti in me which is now arousing the tamasic guna in me, and it's creating something bad and unpleasant. The same is with the other person. So here the Lord says, just become an observer of the gunas in you and know that you are not the doer, but it is the Prakriti who is one doing this. I repeat, observe that the Prakriti through the gunas in you are operating through this body-mind conglomerate from time to time, but you as a person is not doing it. Now, where are we? We all have that sense that I am doing. So he says, become that gunatita, meaning you cross over the gunas and start observing the gunas. Let's say you are in a crowd. Okay. As far as you are in the crowd, you are not able to see the whole crowd. Because you are one among the crowd. But now when you come out of the crowd, you can easily see the entire crowd, and you can also say that I am not a part of that crowd. I am an onlooker, or I am a witness, or I am the seer of that particular crowd. So here, one who has got no attachment with this body and who has got no attachment with the others as well. Meaning what? He is only an observer. This is the difference between a jnani and a normal person. Everywhere it has been again and again said. In chapter 3, verse 27, it is said, Prakrite kriyamanani guni karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaramiti manyate. We have seen this. All actions are performed by the modes of Prakriti. The person whose mind is deluded by ego, such a fool, he says that I am the doer. See, Lord Krishna again and again is telling. Again in chapter 13, verse 30, he says, he doesn't leave. He says, Prakritaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasha ya pashyati tadatmanam kartaram sapashyati. He again says that he who sees that all actions are performed by nature. By nature means by Prakriti. Just now what we said. Everything is being performed. You give up that sense of doership. And this fine demarcation we'll discuss at the end of today's class. So for now you understand that you are not doing. Meaning when I am telling you, you are not listening. Who is listening? This body, mind, senses of yours which is created by the Prakriti, with this activation of the Sattva Guna in you, is now listening to this. That's it. Neither you are listening nor I am telling. There is no I over here. So who sees that all the actions performed in every manner is by nature Prakriti, and the self is that Atma as the non-doer. This person only truly sees. That is what he said. Now again, how does a soul get entangled? Then if this is the case, please tell me. Because I should know how it gets entangled so that I can come out of that entanglement. So in verse 22 of 13th chapter, Purusha prakritis hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. Lord Krishna makes it very clear that the Purusha means the Lord, in association with Prakriti. I told you that it is an unholy association. He has got mixed up by mistake. He experiences the objects of the Prakriti, meaning the nature. He accepts, he experiences, and the three gunas from this Prakriti which have evolved, he gets mixed up in that. And in contact with these three gunas, what happens? He becomes a karta, he becomes a bhokta, he becomes a jnata, and because of he being the doer, the experiencer, the enjoyer, he subject to karma. If it is a good act, he gets punya, and if it is a bad act, evil act, he gets pap. And according to punya and pap, to experience that, be it a million and million births, he has to come back to experience and exhaust all his punya and pap. So what is the entanglement here? Entanglement is you have mixed up with the Prakriti, that is with the body, the mind, the senses, and with the gunas, and you are operating. That's all. Simple. So now you have to get out of this entanglement. I'll tell you two beautiful stories, which last time I was mentioning to you, about Maharshi Parashara. Incidentally, he happens to be the father of Vedavyasji, Maharshi Vedavyasji, who is supposed to be the first guru to everybody. And on the eve of Guru Purnima, so this is a wonderful time where we really listen to his story. See how God's grace, it has come as coincidence. We are going to listen to the story of Maharshi Vedavyasji, who compiled the Vedas, who edited the Vedas, and he brought this to the knowledge to the entire world. Now what are we trying to understand over here? How one has to stay in the state of observing the gunas. In whom? In your body and mind. You are not doing it, but you are observing your body and mind doing it. And now this is what we'll study here now. So, Parashara Muni, a great sage with great powers, once he was crossing a river. Now, as he was crossing the river, the boat was ferried by a girl, indeed a very beautiful girl, and as he was crossing, he somehow felt, now see, a sage of a great caliber, he somehow started getting attracted to the girl. And he is observing the gunas now. He was in his sattvic mind in meditation. He goes to Rajasic. Now the mind is running here and there. And then the mind goes to untoward thoughts, where he starts engaging his mind and getting attracted by that beautiful girl. Now he is straight. Now he is a great yogi. He tells the girl that I want a child from you. Meaning, so obviously he is going to get in union with the girl. Now what she does is, cleverly, now she knows that this is a great sage. How can she just brush him? Because it hurts her male ego, and that to a sage. If he curses and all, then what is the result of this? So she cleverly, what she says is, she says, hey Muni, you know, I smell like a fish. Her name is Matsyagandha. They call her Matsyagandha because she smells like fish. Says, you are a sage and I am a fisherwoman who ferry people from this bank to another bank and we make a living out of it. How can you even think of, it's not a good thing that we can come into union. Then the sage says, oh, you are worried about that? And he immediately grants a boon where now from that Matsyagandha, where she was stinking like a fish, now she becomes Kasturi Gandha, meaning musk fragrant. And this fragrance is how much? 1 yojana, which is 8 miles. Till 8 miles, she has that fragrance of this musk, which is about 12.8 kilometers. She is shocked. Oh my God. She is all the more worried now of the power of this Muni. She understands that this Muni is not going to listen to her. She is not going to take a no as a reply. Then she tells the Muni, hey Muni, see, this river is not a large bank. From one bank to another, the journey is not that large. In fact, I can see my house from where we are now. And you are talking of a union between us. And imagine that there are other people ferrying across. And I can see my home also from here. So then he says, oh, is that your worry? Then immediately what he does is, he creates an island over there. If you are worried about, yes, the distance between the two banks is too less, and if you are worried about that everybody is going to see you, he creates an island and he makes the boat stop on the island. And he completely covers the island with a cloud. Now she says, my God, I think I cannot say no. And then she tells him, you say you want a child. For whatever reason, you know best. You say this. Now what about my chastity? He says, don't worry, Kanya means a virgin girl, don't worry, I will promise you that whatever we do now will not be known to anybody and I am returning your chastity. And he blesses her with Virgo intacto. Virgo intacta meaning where her chastity is intact, even though she had a union with this sage. Now, this sage has a union with this Matsyagandha, who later on becomes Kasturi Gandha or Yojana Gandha. Yojana means 1 yojana is 8 miles. Now with such a girl, he has a union, and within a short period, she gets a son. Now this sage has said, I want to get a son from you who is going to be of that superior, magnificent energy, a great aesthetic merit, and who is going to earn worldwide fame, and who is going to arrange all the Vedas. And accordingly the son is born. Now when the son is born, since the son is born is dark in color, is known as Krishna, and since he is born on an island, he is also known as Dvaipayana. And later on, since he compiled the Vedas, this child, none other than Vedavyasji, who compiled the Vedas, he was called as Vedavyas. Now this child leaves the mother and he says, whenever you call me, oh mother, I am always at your disposal. In this way, now this child goes away. And what happens to the father? The father also, he says, look, I am not going to see you again in my life. This was with a purpose. He says, I had prayed to Lord Shiva. This is as per the Anushasana Parva of the Mahabharata. This sage Parashara had prayed to Lord Shiva, and he says, give me a son with that great aesthetic merit who can compile the Vedas. Now he realized, when he was observing what is happening in his mind, why his senses are getting attracted, this particular prayer, tapas to Lord Shiva, it got activated. On seeing this, Satyavati, Matsyagandha. So the moment, because for every soul a father and mother is designated. So as soon as he saw the designated mother of this particular jiva, this great soul, his senses got activated and he realized this. Now the difference between a human, a common human and a great soul, a jnani, is a jnani does it at the will of the gunas, at the will of the prakriti, at the will of the destiny. But a common person would do at the will of his senses. That is the difference. Then he would say, it was a great feeling, I would like to have it again and again. That's what normally a human would do. But these are the sages who looked at, why is this happening in me? And if it is happening, there is a purpose. And he, being a sage, he understood. Lord Shiva had initiated this. So now, here we got to understand that Parashara Muni, although all this was happening, he was not doing it by himself. This entire act, he knew that this was the result of the prayer fulfilled by Lord Shiva. And he was not involved in the activity. So this is the Lakshana or the symptom, what we call, of a Gunatita. The nature of a Gunatita. Now, another beautiful story to explain this Gunatita. We all have heard of Maharishi Vishwamitra, who was earlier King Kaushika, a Kshatriya, and then he became Vishwamitra. Now, when he became Vishwamitra, and then when he had already decided that he is going to create another heaven, Indradev, who is the king of heaven, he got put out. He said, what is this? If there is going to be another heaven, then my domination will get subdued. So what he did is, he sends Menaka, who was one of his Apsaras, a Gandharva Apsara in his court, a dancer, a very beautiful girl who was born again by the churning of these during the Samudra Manthan by the Devas and the Asuras. Okay, now he tells Menaka, you go and disturb Vishwamitra's penance. Now, Vishwamitra is in deep penance. Menaka comes down to earth, and according to the instructions of Indra, she goes and disturbs the penance of Vishwamitra. Now see, Maharshi Vishwamitra, when he is in such a deep state of meditation, meaning the highest state of Sattva Guna, he has crossed the Sattva Guna also. He is in the Shuddha Sattva. Now he sees himself slowly coming down from Shuddha Sattva to Sattva, and from Sattva to Rajas, and from Rajas to Tamas, meaning where his senses and mind are getting attracted towards Menaka. Now, Menaka was in deep love with Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra also fell in love with Menaka, and they get a baby girl, Shakuntala, who eventually was in sage Kanva's ashram. We know that. And Dushyanta, she married Dushyanta, and child by name Bharata was given. That is all secondary. Now, when Vishwamitra, although he loved, and he knew that Menaka also loves him very much, after the union, he tells Menaka, I know how this has happened. I was tricked over here. And he does not get into any sort of a rage or any kind of a untoward situation. He just tells her that I will not be seeing you again in my life. I am separating from you forever. Now imagine a person who is in love, who has had a great experience. Now, if it was a common human, he would have again asked for it. But here this person, who was a Gunatita, he was just observing how the Gunas are getting modulated, how they are getting fabricated in his mind, and how they are behaving. He just became an observer. He did not become the enjoyer. So in this way, a Gunatita has to be understood. Every action what we are doing. Now let's give a simple example. How to practice this? You start observing your breath. Now you are breathing, and what do you say? Yes, I am breathing. But when you become an observer to your breath, you become a witness. You are not breathing. This body is breathing. You start observing your thoughts. In the first level of our meditation, what we do? Drishtana with Savikalpa Samadhi. We are observing our thoughts. So that is a practice of meditation. So in the same way, observe your thoughts, observe your breath, and start observing your action. As though we observe others, in the same manner, you start observing yourself. That is the way we have to observe. So, here Lord Krishna, he says, Moha meva cha Pandava. He says, yes, when moha comes in, delusion comes in, you start behaving abrupt. But realize that you are not behaving abrupt. It is the quality, the tamas which has set up in you or is set ablaze in you, that is what is creating all this ruckus. Then the act of that tamas, or be it sattva, it is not going to affect you. So here he uses the word Pandava. So what is the meaning of Pandava? We think that son of Pandu, so that's why it's Pandava. No, that's not the case. Actually, Pandava means, Pandu in Sanskrit also means white. Prakashancha means light. So that which is white is compared to this light. Meaning one who is Pandava, he is supposed to be in Sattva Guna. So, O Sattva Guna Arjuna, see the way that even where he addresses according to the situation. He says, O Sattva Guna Pandava Arjuna, he says, All who are in Sattva Guna are Pandavas. Therefore, one has to become a Pandava and then cross over the Gunatita. Unless and until you are in Sattva Guna, you cannot do that. Prakashancha pravrittencha mohamevacha Pandava. So, Jnani, let it be light, prakasha, or pravritti, action, or moha, wrong understanding of a situation. He has to accept what? As per karma siddhanta, prarabdha, karma cannot be erased by any sort of tapas or jnana. Sanchita can be entirely destroyed, but not the prarabdha which is already in motion. So with jnana, he accepts all that is coming in his life. He does not say a bit. He does not complain. He does not rejoice. He is just accepting whatever is coming. With that good karma, one can postpone prarabdha karma, but cannot eradicate it. So Jnani says, let it come. Why keep it pending? Because I have to exhaust it anyway. Now what has come onto your plate, you have to eat it. You can't throw it. So, this nature of a Gunatita is, he will simply accept without making any sort of a comment. So now if you see, Lord Krishna in Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12, he said, Na dveshti na kankshati. So here while describing the qualities of the Bhakta, he said about these qualities. While describing the Gunatita, he again says, Na dveshti sampavrittani. There he says, Na dveshti na kankshati. Here he says, Na dveshti sampravrittani. Meaning one who is a Gunatita is again a true Bhakta. You cannot be a true Bhakta within the framework, being within the framework of the three gunas. You have to cross the three gunas to even become a true Bhakta. So our true devotion, love for God is to be understood how? That we should not have any kind of cravings. We should not be having any kind of complaints. We should not have any kind of demands from God. Just accept, just accept. That is what, before the start of this session, we are again and again taking a vow and pledge, is all this. See, we started this long ago. But in what context? In terms of building ourselves to become a Gunatita. So a true Bhakta will only express his love for God and keep thanking God again and again and again. Says, what more I want, O Lord? You have given me a human life, the highest of life species on this planet. And along with the human life, you have given me mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means a desire to reach you. I don't have a desire to get into the world. I have a desire to reach you. And you have given me enough situations in life to make us understand the impermanence of this world. Impermanence of this health, wealth, relationship, status, power, all this I have understood, O Lord, in life. You have given us a platform to perform unabated sadhana and gain the spiritual knowledge. And more importantly, you have given me a Guru and the Shastra. Is there any way I can even measure the amount of blessings I have got in my life? Immeasurable. One who starts thinking on these lines, he is a true Jnani. Prakashancha pravrittincha mohamevacha Pandava. So let this sattva, rajas, tamas, all these guna, they set in. I am a witness. I watch this body, mind, senses, conglomerate, all this entire created by Prakriti which is at play. I am just here to exhaust my prarabdha karma. And my true intention is to cross over and become a Gunatita and become a true Bhakta. See how beautifully Lord Krishna has explained over here. What we just need to get hold of this understanding and see that it percolates in our mind and we remain in it. So now moving forward, how do you look at others? Don't be judgmental. Just as you were a witness to yourself, become a witness to the others' actions and emotions. Know that Prakriti, as it is in play in you, it is also in play in them. The same person is a combo of these three gunas as it is in you. It is changing in him from time to time as it was changing in you also. Sometimes there is an increase in Sattva Guna. That person talks lovely things. Sometimes there is an increase in Raja Guna. He is a confused person. Sometimes he is in Tamo Guna. He is a disastrous person. You say, what is this? My God. Now, don't attribute this to the person. That is the secret here. Attribute it to the gunas in that person. So you are not seeing a person per se in the outside world, nor you are seeing a person per se in yourself. Mark these words. You are not seeing a person per se in the outside world. You are not seeing a person per se in yourself. There is no person here. Everything is only Prakriti. Everything is only gunas. Everything is only action of Prakriti and Guna against each other, which are all created by the Lord and Lord alone. The sentiency in this Prakriti, for the Gunas, are by that Lord, Purusha, be it others or be it you. So, you may also see there are some people in most of the time in one particular guna, which could be sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Don't appreciate them, don't comment, don't praise, don't show hatred. Just keep observing. Look at the Prakriti and its gunas in action, just like it is in you. Don't forget everyone's prarabdha is in play. As your prarabdha is in play, the same is happening with the other's prarabdha. In other words, people who are very close to you, they bring happiness or sorrow because your account and their account are on an interplay. If you have to receive happiness from somebody, you will have somebody who is giving you happiness all the time. If you have to receive sorrow from somebody, you will have that person so very close to you that he is always there to give you that sorrow. This you can't change. Accept it. Just accept it. And how? You are not a person and he is not a person. It is both ways. It is Prakriti who is in action. Understand the nature's work. The drama, the stage, the green room, the director, the producer, the actors, all are in action and we are all on a stage of drama. There is no person here, there are only actors, Prakriti and the gunas. Now imagine you went to see a drama and you saw evil character over there, a villain, so-called villain, and you also saw good person, which we generally call as a hero. Now, while the play was on, you hated the villain. You were only concerned about the hero. Say if the hero is going and somewhere some calamity is coming to the hero, you are concerned, oh my God, be careful. You are saying that way. Why? Because you are concerned about the hero. Sometimes you wept, you cried, you laughed, you anticipated different emotions for different characters. But at the end of the drama, when all the characters came to wish goodbye to the audience one by one, you clapped for all the actors. Even though while watching the drama, you hated them. You loved somebody, you hated somebody, you were neutral to somebody, you didn't care about somebody. Now, at the end, you start clapping. Sometimes it could happen without your understanding that you have clapped more for the wonderful acting of the villain than the hero. Because it was an excellent performance. How? Because you know it was a play. Same way look at your life and the life of others. Not as you were watching the play, but what you did at the end, and you keep watching the play. All are actors. Even I am an actor. The person opposite me also is an actor. I have been given a certain role. The person opposite me has been given a certain role. Now what is the situation of a villain? Imagine. He is abused by everybody at the end. That is his role. That is his prarabdha as per the role. And the hero is praised by everybody at the end. Now, how is that? That is also the prarabdha of the hero. So in this way, don't discriminate people. What looks to you as dharma could be adharma for the others. You don't have business to look at all this. Just be a witness, a silent observer, and mind your own business. Tatastha, be stable in that thought. I am an actor, he is an actor. Everybody around, we are on a stage, and we all are playing according to the dialogues and the role prescribed for us. If somebody is coming and he scolds you, praise the Lord. Oh Lord, what a fine dialogue delivery he did. One after the other, he is bashing at me, he is abusing me. What a fine dialogue delivery. I appreciate him. That should be the thought in our mind. That is when you have crossed the Sattva Guna. When you look at the person and you listen to him and feel affected, you get angry, you get frustrated, that means you are still in the Gunas. You have not crossed over the Gunas. This is just an indication for all of us. And you will see yourself, as you start practicing this, you will see that doesn't matter if somebody is praising you or somebody is abusing you. Doesn't matter, because you are not the person at all. That way. So this is what is we have to understand being a Gunatita over here. Now we move on to the next verse. See, we are already up. Okay. As I said, we will take the next whatever time it takes, and we'll complete the 23rd chapter, because along with this Gunatita's status, now we are going to understand a revelation, much more revelation, where I am going to talk of the Jivatma, Paramatma. Before that, let's just read the shloka. This is Shlok 23. Udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate guna vartanta ityeva yo vatishtati nengate. See, here, whatever thoughts come from Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the Jnani sees this from the point of view of Gunatita. That is in the Sakshi Bhava. That's what we understood now so far. Okay. So, Udasinavat. Udasinavat means in that spirit of a witness. Asinaha meaning firmly established. How is he doing? He is witnessing everything in life as is firmly established in that state of witness. Not craving, I want this to happen, and not getting dejected or objecting when something untoward comes to him. The best psychology, there is no stress, there is no depression, there is no anger, there is no jealousy, no hatred. This is the state. So when you are in a state of witness, if something happens the way you didn't want, there is no anger on anybody. If any person dear to you dies, we cry, we shout, we blame, but what is the use? The situation cannot be reversed. So Lord Krishna says, accept it and move on. Avatishtati, he says. Tishtati means accept. But here he uses the word avatishtati. Avatishtati means simply accept. Gracefully accept. as we said in the prayers, I accept everything, O Lord, because the gunas are the one which are doing. So why interfere? Maya is playing through these gunas. How can you go against Maya, which is none other than the power of the Lord? So behind the objects of senses means in the world, there are various objects. Now, eyes want something, ears want something, your tongue wants something. All these are objects in the outside world. So behind these objects of senses, you have the senses. Behind the senses, you have the mind. And behind the mind, you have the body. And behind all this, we have Maya playing. So can you stop the rains, the wind, the heat, the thunder? You can't. Because that's all creation, Prakriti. So same way, understand this, and what we have to do is, we have to become an observer, a sakshi, like going, and now if weather is not good, you go and sit in an AC room, a nice soundproof AC room. So then neither the thunder affects you, nor the wind, nor the rain, nor the heat, nor the cold. Another beautiful technique of doing this is, sometimes we feel that we are not in a position to do this. There was a great devotee of Sri Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, now Girish Chandra Ghosh. He was a great artist, a drama artist, and he goes to Sri Ramakrishna and he says, I don't know, I can't understand all this. How to go about these gunas, how to understand actions, senses, mind, gunatita, I don't understand this. He says, I am giving you a power of attorney. Oh Lord, can you do something where you operate on my behalf? He tells Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Guna vartante iti. This way. Even we, the moment you get up in the morning, you say, I need your hand holding, O Lord. I have learned this technique. I am grateful to you that I got this technique. But till the time I am able to master this, I need you to hand hold me. So please, I give you the power of attorney, and you take responsibility and see that I am moving in the right directions. So the gunas in me are doing the act. I want this to stabilize in my mind. Gunas are attached to the body and mind, and body and mind are attached to the senses, and senses are attached to the object. This is a constant affair which is happening. But a jnani sees this as the act of Prakriti and Maya. He becomes a witness to the actions prompted by the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now, one more important thing. Not only the action done by him, but also with respect to the actions done by others. He sees others' action also as done by the gunas, and he does not get involved in the process of getting upset or elated. Now, we are coming to the crucial aspects. How are we caught? This is all fine, but then how are we caught? When we are doing an action, we say, I am seeing. Now you are listening. I am listening, you will say. I may say, I am talking. But when this I factor comes in, only then the problem comes in. So the I factor, that is the repercussion, which we have to, that is set in over here. And with this, what happens, wherever there is I factor, you get angry, you get joyful, you get upset, you get all sorts of emotions. Jealous. So that kartrutva is in motion, and this becomes a karma, and you are the beneficiary of the karma phala. And to get the karma phala, you again get a life accordingly, and you are back into the samsara chakra. Oh my God, I understood all this. I want to end this now. This samsara chakra I want to end. I want to become a witness. So now you transcend your body and mind. No, you are not this body and mind. Then what am I? You are not the reflected consciousness also, but you are that pure consciousness. Now, this is the most crucial aspect. What exactly we are? Now, let's understand this carefully. So, we all know consciousness, Chaitanya, Chit, we know this. And we also know about that, yes, I understand, I have knowledge, which is called as Vidya or Jnana. One side we are talking of consciousness, and on the other side we are talking of our understanding capabilities. Now, where the fine line has to be drawn, and where we have to understand what exactly we are. I will explain this now. The consciousness shining on the mind. Now, I have a mind, you all have a mind. Consciousness is all around in the universe. Please understand, consciousness is not within us. We all are in consciousness. This is one basic understanding we need to have. It is not that we have consciousness inside, but we are inside consciousness. So that consciousness which is all around is shining on our mind. Mind is a reflecting agency. Like as you have a mirror, you have a steel plate, you have a glass. What it does, it has the capability to reflect. Okay. So this consciousness, a stone doesn't have a mind, so it doesn't have that sentiency. That's the reason we are sentient, and a stone or another inert object, wherever there is no mind, it doesn't have sentiency. As simple as that. So now when this consciousness lights up my mind, I become the pramata, meaning the knower. Sanskrit word is pramata. In English it is knower. Now who is this knower? This jiva, this sentient jiva, me, you, everybody else. What is happening? That consciousness is shining on our minds, and no sooner it shines on our mind, we become aware and we become the jiva, which we call ourselves by our names and which we call others by their names. So this awareness shining on a mind with its own distinctive cluster of impressions, of thoughts, of history, incidents, all this lights up our mind. It all comes to our mind. Now that consciousness hits our mind, and immediately we get a feeling, we know who we are, and our mind is lit up. Now, when the mind is lit up, this becomes the reflected consciousness. So two things we understood over here. One is consciousness all around, which is in the entire universe. In that, you as a person, you have a mind, and that consciousness, it reflects on this mind. So now what is the metaphor we can give over here? Let's say the consciousness is the sun, and your mind is like that bucket of water. Bucket is your body, and the water is the reflecting medium, which is your mind. Now, this reflected consciousness, which is your mind, it deploys a series of instruments of knowledge. What are the instruments of knowledge? Which are known as pramana in Sanskrit. So meaning, this mind with its borrowed light, which has become a knower, a pramata, being a knower with the instruments of knowledge. And instruments of knowledge are your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mind. That's all your sense organs. So with your eyes you become a hearer. With your ears. With the eyes you become a seer. And the words become the known object. When you hear with your ears, the words which come into your ears, they become the known object, which is known as prameya. And out of this prameya, with these words, what did you get? You got knowledge, which is known as prama. Understood? I again go back. Consciousness, mind. You have sense objects. When that consciousness, which is the pure consciousness, it reflects on your mind, which is the reflected consciousness, and this reflected consciousness with the objects of knowledge, which are the ears, the eyes, the tongue, the skin, it becomes the knower. Who is the knower? You are the knower. How? With the instruments of knowledge like the eyes, the ears, the tongue, the nose, the skin, and also things like, we also have external knowledge. There is something you're listening, there is like you make inference where you read a book. You read something on the net, or you get some scientific knowledge. So with that you get prama, knowledge about noble things. You are getting knowledge about what? Noble things. What are those noble things? What you hear are noble. What people you see around are noble to you. Food you taste is noble. And the book you read is noble. So this prameya, using instruments of knowledge, pramana, instruments of knowledge is pramana. You, the pramata, knower, gets knowledge, prama. So this knower is only getting a tiny slice of knowledge, because you are operating within your objects of knowledge, which is your sense organs. Now, in your room, wherever you are seated, you know what is happening, because your eyes are seeing and your ears are listening. But if what is happening at the other end of your street, do you get knowledge? No, because you don't have the senses to go to that extent where you have ears to listen to what is happening at the end of your street. So, because we are restricted to the senses and the objects of knowledge. So this known and unknown are in the awareness. Please understand this carefully. Where is this now? In that awareness. And what is this awareness? The reflected consciousness. Consciousness is outside. Through my mind, my entire mind, the senses, everything is charged now. That is only reflected consciousness. So, the seen, the heard, the tasted, the smelt, whatever you have done, or the unseen, the unheard, the untasted, the unsmelt, they all are in your awareness. Now, coming to this point, this reflected consciousness and the mind together is the jiva. Catch this point. Who is the jiva? That reflected consciousness in you and the mind. Where is the mind? It's in you. And where is the consciousness? All around in the universe. But when then that particular consciousness touches your mind, that reflected consciousness, the mind, the body, the senses, this is the definition of a jiva. That sentient being. Now we all are sentient. We have jiva in us. We are known as the knower, the pramata. We are also the bhokta, the experiencer. We have pain, pleasure, enjoyment, suffering, joy, so many things. And it is also the doer. Who? The jiva. In association with the actions, the instruments of action, with the body, this reflected consciousness, it feels that I can walk, I can talk, I can give, I can take, I can travel, I can ski, I can hike. Who is doing all this? It is the doer, the karta. Consciousness in itself, is it a knower? Let's ask a question. No. Is it an enjoyer, sufferer? No. Is it a doer? No. How do I understand this? Now, let's take the movie example. The movie, you are in a movie theater. There is a screen in front of you. Does the screen know, or does it suffer, or does it enjoy, or do all the things which is happening in the movie? Does it do anything? Does the screen do any action? In terms of fighting, dancing, crying, flood, rain, nothing. In itself, no. So you are not the doer, you are not the knower, nor you are the sufferer. You are that Chidruposi, you are that pure consciousness. Look up at the sun and say, that is my true nature. Here this is just a reflection, this is an illusion. The moment the mind is not there, the moment the body is not there, the illusion is gone. Kick the bucket. I think that's how the word has come. He kicked the bucket means when there is no water, there is no reflection. When there is no reflection, there is no jiva. So this is the illusion in which we are. What we have to understand is our true nature is that consciousness which is the sun. This is a reflection. It is a temporary phenomena, which is just because something is shining over here, it is reflecting that. Sunlight which is around. So, when are you this Chidruposi or pure awareness? Right now. It's not that we have to gain a lot of knowledge, we have to attend Vedanta class, we have to do a lot of sadhana, then only you become pure consciousness. No. Even if you don't take even one single class of Vedanta, or you have not done a single day of sadhana, you are still a pure consciousness. As much as how the greatest saints were like Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, or Vivekananda, Swami Chinmayananda, we don't become this consciousness. We are already this consciousness. But what happens is, by a lot of spiritual practice and sadhana and listening to Vedanta, these things become clear to us. To whom? The Jiva. That we are not the Jiva. We are not the knower, we are not the enjoyer, nor we are the sufferer, but our true nature is that pure consciousness. This is what is being told over here. Now one more thing, I'll tell a little more deeper thing. If you can grasp this, fine, otherwise, till now whatever we have told, please listen to this as many times as you can and get that in your mind. Now we said you are not the knower, enjoyer, sufferer, you are that consciousness and awareness, but yet there is, other than you, which is the pure consciousness, there is no knower, there is no doer, there is no enjoyer or sufferer. How? Other than the screen, where is the hero? Where is the movie? Where is the villain? Where is the fight? Where is the dance? They don't exist without the screen. So it's like, by that, a very good example which they give in Vedanta is, by the beautiful moonlight, the earth is revealed at night, correct? There is no sunlight, but the moonlight reveals the earth during night. But there is no moonlight without the sunlight. So sun is like that consciousness and awareness. You, the reality. The moon is like the mind, and the moonlight, which is basically reflected sunlight, is like the reflected consciousness, which is our mind. What actually reveals the world at night? It's not the sun directly, it is the reflected light which we call as the moonlight. Notice, it is the moonlight which is practically revealing the world, giving us the experience of the world at night. Moonlight is not original to the moon, it is borrowed from the sun. In the same way, this consciousness is borrowed from that consciousness which is encompassing the entire universe. It is a tiny fraction of the light of the sun. The same consciousness is a very tiny fraction of that consciousness which is all around, prevailing in the entire universe. You are that limited awareness. That tiny bit of you, that miserable, fading, flickering bit, which is shining upon the mind, and that becomes the knower, the pramata, the enjoyer, and sufferer, bhokta, the doer of all actions, karta. This is our true story. We have to understand that we are not the knower. But at the same time, there is no knower other than us, nor the bhokta, nor the karta. We have to use this screen and movie example and the sun and the moonlight example. And understand, we are, what is this jiva? This jiva is nothing but the reflected consciousness, which is temporary, like that bucket with water. As far as the bucket is standing straight and the water is there, you will see the reflection of the sun in that, sun or the moon, whatever it is. But the moment the bucket falls down or the water is empty, which means there is no mind, there is no awareness in your body or mind. So, we have to understand that this jiva is only an illusion, and our true self is the awareness or the consciousness, which is like the sun. Once we have this, and you have to, now how do you live with this? One is, we spoke about the gunatita. You are observing yourself, meaning your body, your mind, you are observing as a person who is next to you. Now, from what point of view you are observing? You should be observing your body and mind as that pure consciousness, which is giving light to this body and mind. And the good news is that our minds can be rewired. Neuroplasticity. It can be rewired. Whatever thought you want, good, bad, ugly, you can change your mind patterns. The only thing is, you need to repeat it again and again to your mind, and that becomes your way of life, your way of thinking. So again and again say, I am not doing this, I am only an observer of this. I am not this reflection, this reflected self, but I am the one which causes the reflection. Meaning, I am that pure consciousness. This, if we start practicing this, you will see that everything which was like a burden in our life, everything which was unpleasant in our life, everything which was unbearable in our life, all that starts becoming a play. Because you are an actor and everybody else is an actor. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So what we'll do is, we'll study the divine names and the Dhanvantri mantra. We'll chant 3 times. And please be in your deep thoughts. If you wish, we can do the Siddhi Yoga Dhyana with pearls of wisdom, which will take 5 minutes. If you all are okay, we'll do that as you wish. Okay? Hari Om. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Please send your interest, we can do on those lines. Now moving forward to Shri Vishnu Sahasranama, which is verse 27. We'll first read the verse. I'm sure it was a little heavy, but it's really mind-boggling. This is our true nature. We have not understood what we are in the true sense. Verse 27. Asankheyo prameyatma vishishta shishta kuchuchihi siddhartha siddhi sankalpaha siddhida siddhi sadhanaha. 251 Shuchihi. Shuchihi means one who is pure, the immaculate reality which is never contaminated by the Maya and its byproducts. Such a pure soul is that Mahavishnu. When dirt, which is mala, exists upon anything, it becomes unclean. In the absolute oneness, there can be nothing other than itself, and therefore the fourth plane of consciousness, which is we call it as Turiyam, is indicated in our scriptures as the transcendental, ever pure self, Lord Hari. (252) Siddhartha. One who has gained all that has to be gained and achieved all that has to be achieved, that which has to be achieved in life during an individual's existence, has all been classified under four heads, and they are called as the four aims of life, which we say Purushartha. First one is Dharma, righteousness in conduct. Second is wealth and possession, Artha. Third is desires and ambitions, Kama. Fourth is liberation from imperfections, which is Moksha. One who has gained all these four has nothing more to gain, as there cannot be any sense of imperfection in him. One who has gained, meaning Siddha, all that has to be gained, meaning Artha, is Siddhartha, who is none other than Lord Vishnu. To such a divine Lord, we offer our humble salutations. We seek His grace, mercy, and blessings. Now let's chant the Dhanvantri mantra, and post that we do this 5 minutes meditation of pearls of wisdom for self-realization. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Our humble salutations to Mother Prakriti, Lord Dhanvantari. We seek His grace for good health and a sound mind to understand divinity within us and around us. Om Tat Sat. Come. Now let's all meditate. We have had a great session. The words of wisdom are on the same lines. Grasp it completely. Allow that to seep in your mind. Now first let's bring the body to ease. Sit comfortably in a relaxed position. Adjust your body. And bring it to a state of relaxation. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Relax your forehead, your face, your neck, shoulder and arms, and your entire body. Now let's take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as deep as you can 3 times. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Chptr and Chptr. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings, and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything but does not get contaminated, same way the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Chptr, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parambrahman, Paramatma. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes, and lovingly and gently open your eyes. Together, we offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Naham karta hari preranaya hari prityartha. To seek His grace, His mercy, His blessings. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam namama. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. We pray again and again to the Guru Parampara to keep guiding us and bless us so that this knowledge becomes a reality to all of us. Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everybody.